Hello, welcome to the 2017 Northwest Prep Exhibition. You will now listen to an audio. During the last century, there have been many tornadoes that have affected people in Texas. One example is the F5 tornado that happened in Goliad, Texas in 1902. It killed 114 people and injured 205 people. It destroyed almost every building, leaving people without homes. This happened in May 18, 1902. Another example of a tornado that happened in Texas was the F5 tornado that happened in Rock Spring in 1927. It killed 15 people and injured 105 people. It wiped out the whole city, destroying everything, leaving people without homes. 235 buildings were destroyed, but some people survived the tornado.
One last example of a tornado that happened in Texas is the F5 tornado that happened in Waco, 1953. This was about 4 p.m., the day after Mother's Day. According to Texas A&M University, this tornado was 1/3 of a mile wide. It killed 114 people and injured 597 people. The tornado destroyed 600 homes and 2,000 vehicles. Lena was at her office trying to create another song for her audience. She was thinking of doing a song for the people that appreciated her and thanked her for her help to the people who were in hard situations. She was always doing this when she was really stressed. This morning she didn't have her coffee, and writing music calms her down. The coffee she mostly likes is a cappuccino. She drinks it every morning. This morning she didn't.
She mostly worked with her brother, Dune, who was a constructor or a person who builds houses or repairs them. The company he worked for was CAT. That company didn't send bills to the people that got their houses rebuilt because they are in very hard situations. Since Lena and Dune are in the same family, Lena helps Dune by giving CAT money for materials they need to rebuild houses. Last year in Texas, there was a tornado that destroyed almost every building.
This type of tornado was an F5 tornado. Kat heard about this and went to help the people by repairing the city and rebuilding houses and stores, making them better so the people could live in the houses again. Lena was the one that helped get the money for materials and Dune for rebuilding. They were a great team. Anyways, after Lena was done writing the song for her audience, she had to go to the store and buy clothes to get ready for her performance. She's going to go perform at Herman Clark Stadium. When Lena was at the store, there were a lot of fans and lots of people that asked for her autograph. When Lena finished with shopping, she went to her closet to change for her performance.
When she was done changing, Lena went on stage and started singing the song she was writing for the people in the morning. When she was in the middle of singing, someone called out, "A tornado is coming." Everyone was in panic and the tornado just sweeps by, killing children and people. There are buildings collapsing. People are running for safety, looking for loved ones. Destroyed buildings are blocking the streets, while there are clouds of dust covering the town. Fire is forming and is spreading. Lots of people are dying. Kids are scared and crying for help. Parents are trying to find their kids through all the rubble. Dogs are barking. Car alarms are going off. The power grids are going down. Most of the buildings and houses are destroyed. There is nothing to do but wait.
After the tornado has happened, people started to gather up in neighborhoods, and they were trying to reach other people to help them. After a person found out that there are still multiple buildings standing, he told the other survivors of the tornado that there are still buildings up at Tanglewood Elementary School, and that they should go there for safety. Everyone was really happy and in relief because they were really scared about where they were going to stay while they waited for help. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, an agency that helps people who are in natural disasters, comes and helps us with food and water. They also provide a shelter and other necessities for our Temporary Autonomous Zone, or TAZ. But before that, we are going to scavenge for food and resources. The site of this Temporary Autonomous Zone, or TAZ, is Tanglewood Elementary School. The population of the TAZ is 550 people. The temperature is somewhere around 65 degrees Fahrenheit and it is early March.
The school is about 7 acres of land. The people in our Taz use this space by putting tents in the field to sleep in, having their medical supplies in certain classrooms. Food is distributed in the hallway in front of the entrance, and cooking food is done in the cafeteria of the school. The AV room is going to be used for communicating with other government agencies and aid agencies for them to bring in food and water. There is also extra space to use because the school is big. There is a lake in front of the school as well.
Now get up and move to board number 1. Look at the top left poster.
The people in our task have 2 ways they are going to get shelter. First, we are going to build our own shelters by using blankets and tubing for building the tents. The second way the survivors are going to get shelter is from FEMA. Since we have a communication room, we will use that for communicating with them. We won't use the inside of the school for shelter because some of the school was destroyed. So that means the survivors are going to use the field of the school, Tanglewood Elementary School, located in Fort Worth, Texas, where we are going to put the tents for 550 people to stay.
In the map of the school, there is a drop-off center where FEMA will drop off the tents. We will arrange the tents in a circle with a fire in the middle. That way, all the tents will absorb the heat. We will also use sleeping bags that come from FEMA. Those are the ways the survivors are going to deal with shelter. Even though we have a shelter over their heads, how are the people of our task going to be healthy?
Now look at the top right poster of the same board. There are 3 ways our task will meet the health needs of its people. The first way is we the survivors are going to get materials from scavenging through houses and stores. We the survivors are going to use makeshift supplies like plastic bags as bandages. Survivors who have medical skills can use these materials to help people who are in need of medical help until outside help arrives. There will be a room in the school where medical supplies and people with medical care skill will help victims who are hurt. The second way the survivors will meet the health needs of its people is we the survivors are going to find herbs and other types of plants to make remedies and help people who are hurt. The third way is eventually organizations like FEMA and the Red Cross will bring supplies and people from medical fields to help people who are in need of medical help. They will also use a room in the school to treat patients. These are the 3 ways the survivors of the tornado will meet the health needs of its people. Now that we are healthy, how are we going to get water for also keeping our body healthy? Now go to board number 2. Look at the top left poster.
Our task has a few ways to collect and purify water. We will collect water with cans and pots. We will find the water in ponds, lakes, creeks, and rivers. We will boil the water that we have collected with the stove we have. We will boil it for 5 minutes, but 10 minutes is safer. Now we have clean and drinkable water.
We will use this process of SODIS, solar drinking water disinfection, to get drinkable water. SODIS means to put water that is in a clear glass water bottle. Leave it in directly in the sun for 6 hours, but if it is cloudy, it has to be 2 days. The water purifies because the sun's UV rays will kill bacteria and will make it safe to drink. FEMA will also bring us water from trucks in our Taz parking lot, but this will be weeks later, so we need our own way to get water. Now that we have water to drink, we are going to get hungry. How are the survivors going to get food for eating?
Now look at the top right poster of the same board.
There are 2 ways that the people of our task are going to get food. First, from scavenging through houses. Since the tornado destroyed everything, food is scattered around the city. Second, we are going to get food from FEMA. FEMA will come every 2 weeks to give us supplies. They will drop off the food at the drop-off center that we have at the school. Then, the people on our task will cook it in the kitchen of the school and distribute it to the people by using the trays in the school. When we distribute it, we will find out how much food we have, and then we will divide the food equally to the people. We will distribute the 3 meals every day. That is how we're going to get food and distribute it and cook it. The survivors have planned how they are going to get their food, but now, how will they handle their waste?
Now go to board number 3. Look at the top left poster. The bathrooms in the school stopped working, and the people in Artaz have 2 different ways to handle their waste management. First, they will build a burned out latrine so they can have their garbage put in a hole and have it burned, and the ashes are put in a pile. The second way is by building an outhouse. The outhouse is set up like a regular toilet that is over a pit, and the waste is dropped into the pit. After the people have finished doing their business, we will cover the hole. It will decompose over time. The survivors know how to handle their waste, but how will they stay warm?
We have 3 ways to get warmth and find heat for cooking food. Our first way is by having a group of people scavenge for matches and lighters. Our second method is using a miniature stove. The stove needs a type of fuel called HEET, heat, to cook, and we will use the stove to boil water or cook food.
In Fort Worth, it is not that cold, so all we need is clothes. We will find clothes in the buildings. The survivors know how to get their heat. How will they deal with their communication?
Now squat down and look at the bottom poster of the same board. There are 3 ways Artaz will meet the communication needs of its people. The first way the survivors are going to meet this need is by using radios that have a mic to communicate, like a citizen's band or ham radio. The second way is the survivors can use a mobile satellite for Wi-Fi that mostly all RVs have to be able to communicate and get on other sites like social media.
The third way is the survivors can use images to communicate by posting an image on social media. An image on social media can draw people's attention, so it might make them want to help or tell the government that we need help. These are the 3 ways the people in Artaz can communicate with the government or other aid agencies.
Getting the wide angle shot, bruh.
Okay, here, look it. It works.
What? Anything in there?
Yeah.
Can't see anything.
Bruh, really? What did you?
32?
Yeah, channel 32.
I thought it was 19.
No. Okay.
Wait, no, put it back up, put it back up. Yeah, bruh.
I'm gonna dab at the end.
No. Yeah, I gotta get closer. I expect.
There we go.
Considering I have on my tire for parking that